was an ambush.
How many did you save?
Just like a dream.
You did the only thing you could do. And you lost.
Like a dream.
Look, we're still in this thing.
The day you walked away.
But we have no idea what we're dealing with.
Unfortunately. Still you haunt me like a dream.
Things are getting worse around here, aren't they?
Boyd, we're out of food.
Too many things are changing. Yeah. I have to remember.
Remember what?
What's missing?
Nothing that I've been through is possible.
I think you're here for what's in the basement.
This place will not break us. We can still win. But the only way we go home is together.
Hello. The game here is rigged. Why can't they leave us alone?
No matter what this place throws at us, we're gonna find our way home.
Everybody just talks about how afraid they are of dying. Well, I don't think that's the worst thing that can happen to you here.
Hello?
Like a dream.
Are you looking for these?
Into my life.
You can't save them all.
But things are really how they seem.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Trivia Night on the Movie Guru YouTube page. Man, I just love playing that trailer, especially now that we are more than halfway down the season 3, and I can't believe it. I remember when we were patiently waiting for season 3 to start, and now here we are pretty much at the end of season 3. How's everybody doing today? How's everybody doing tonight? I see the chat is already coming alive, and it looks like a couple of people is already at night where they're from in Portugal, Europe. Fletcher, the Crominuncle, hope you're having a good evening. PS is in the live stream today. Hey everyone, happy From Day, and it is a very happy From Days because a lot of people got what they wanted, which was some answers. So give a thumbs up and a like if you guys think that we got some answers on this week's episode 8. I think that they did. Bitey is here. Oh, the reigning champ. Bitey, welcome to the trivia. Come back to claim their title. They took a week off last week and now they're back. Welcome. We'll give it a couple more minutes for people to join in, but we can sort of discuss some of the questions and answers that we got from tonight's show. Yeah, we definitely got some answers, right? And we got from what I just put out my video, my review, and my breakdown on my YouTube page. You guys can check that out. And we're seeing a shift in main characters. It went from Boyd to Tabitha to, I'll even go as far as to say Jade, and now it looks like Julie is at the forefront of this escapade. She is leading the pack, and looks like she's going to be the true savior of Fromville. Now, I don't know how she's going to do it, but apparently she's been hit with the gift and the curse, and she's got some sort of powers now where she can go into the other realm without having to use an item, and so there's tons of stuff going on right now, but we'll look at it after the trivia. So I just want to make sure everybody's here. But yeah, definitely a really good episode. Bitey says they enjoyed the episode, and yeah, Julie definitely has superpowers now. I mean, I think it was the super weed she was smoking, right? I got this theory where it seems that a lot of people either have visions after they drunk something or took some sort of drugs, and she was toting up all episodes, and now all of a sudden she can fly, right? She got superpowers, not literally fly, but she got superpowers, you know. So from is entertaining, similar plot that Dark had. Hope it doesn't get messy, man. Yep, they really delivered this season. They did. They did. I mean, I believe that they changed a few things. You know, like I said on my review, I think they filled a few plot holes, which of course who threw down the rope. I think they filled that plot hole. I also think that they changed it so it wouldn't be guessable. You know, I'm pretty sure that when we see it behind the scenes after season 3, I'm sure that John Griffin will be like, "Yeah, we went back and we changed a couple things." I'm sure. Papa Socks, welcome, welcome, Papa Socks. And so yeah, I think we got a couple people here. I'm really excited. I think this is going to be a good episode. It'll be a good game. We got some of our all stars in the building now. Of course, this is only episode 8, so we've got 2 more episodes to go. Now, I'm trying to get a prize for the finale, so guys, stick with me. And like I said before, if anybody wants to be a participant, you guys can just email me, and we can set it up to make like a verse thing. So if anybody's interested. And so here's the categories, and I see Fletcher already likes some of my my categories. We've got locations. Now this is different from last week. Now there was locations last week, but I'm gonna let you guys know this is different. Unsolved mysteries, right? There's a ton of those on this, so that could be anything. Fatima, she seems to be a popular character in the last couple episodes, so maybe we'll dig into some of her past. Episode 8, of course, which is the most recent episode. And he said, she said, right? I feel like that's a category because they do a lot of talking on this show. And somebody's lying. We know that somebody's not telling the truth. And people are saying a whole bunch of he said, she said, nobody saying anything. So yeah, that's one of the category. And then hiding spots, right? So if you guys know, this is the Jeopardy style from trivia. We mainly play in the chat. So if anybody's watching, we can start with a category, and then I'll bring up the question, and then we can just answer. Now, and then you guys can keep score yourselves and things like that. So let's kick things off. Drum roll, please. Please present your first category in the chat. So it says Scott Victor's actor was the MVP of this episode. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. What category do you guys want to start with? So Bonterez Ramos says he wants to start with Fatima. Yeah, right. We get a couple of Fatimas. So yeah, so let's kick it off. Fatima for 200. So the first question: when did Fatima say her father passed away? And when I say when, meaning in the show when she explained it, what was the special occasion? I guess that would be the best way to answer it. Okay, Papa Size, he said they're not scared. They're not scared. Okay, we get a couple of questions here. Now, Fletcher, that's correct. But I didn't say how he died. I said when. When? Oh, here we go. Okay, yeah. Okay, we got a couple. At the Brundles with Julie. Yeah, that's when she did say it. But I guess I meant when in her life, right? But yeah, her birthday. Yeah, her birthday. So yeah, but when she on the show, she said it at the Brundles. But when she was saying that at the Brundles, she was explaining that it was at her birthday that her father got killed. So yeah, so everybody, so Mr. and Mrs. Smith, welcome to From Trivia. We've got all our heavy hitters. We've got Bitey, the reigning champ, and we've got Mr. and Mrs. Smith, also the reigning champ. So this should be a pretty tough battle. Yeah, so for those who don't know, uh, Papa Sock said, "Yeah, go back and watch the boring scenes." Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Fatima was at the Brundles. She was talking with Julie, and that's when she gave her background story. Right, she kind of explained that her it was her birthday. She was excited, and these men. Now she just said men. She didn't say ethnicity. She didn't say job, occupation. Dragged her father out and killed her on her birthday. That's all she said. And she did say the location as far as it was in Iran, where she was from. Now, I've got a theory that even though she just said men, it could possibly be somewhat related to Ellis and related to his father because Boyd wasn't, it just says armed forces and it says that he was stationed in Afghanistan, Iraq. Iraq is next to Iran. And so there could be some sort of connection there as far as the mission or him supporting when they had to go do this. And he could have actually even been there, even though he might not have been the one to pull the trigger. But I would love to hear that conversation between Boyd and Fatima going forward because I think that would be an interesting dynamic if Fatima even survives, right? Because we don't know what's going on with her right now. So let's keep it going. Fatima for 400. So Papa Sock said if Julie had got that Fatima kiss, I bet I would have remained. Right? Yeah, that is true. And listen, Julie really wanted that. What gift did Fatima receive at her 1 year party? Hey, we've got Christopher, the real Christopher, here in the building. Welcome, Christopher. You're just in time. We're on our second question, and the category we're in is Fatima. So put your Fatima thinking cap on, and let's get into it. Man, you guys seem to know this answer. Dreamcatcher down the board. Now I actually forgot this one, but I guess I kind of cheat because I look it up. But yeah, she got the Dreamcatcher at her 1 year anniversary party. Now I thought that would have been tough because I'm trying to find these questions to stump you guys. I thought that was um, a small piece that a lot of people have looked over, but you guys are too good for that. Gothic Chick 4, welcome to the trivia. Happy to see you. We've got all our big hitters in the building today. We've got Bitey, we've got Mr. and Mrs. Smith, who are our reigning champs, and we got you as well. You as well. You are a main competitor. I think you're Bitey's biggest competition. All right, so yeah, let's get back. So this is our first category, Fatima, and that was for 400. So for 600, what is Fatima's role at the Colony House? Man, you guys are too good. Yeah, she's a proxy. And that was hard to remember. I mean, you would just think like, man, she's just, a person there. She's helped out, or she's just, Ellis's live-in wife, right? Like, or it's opposite. Ellis's Fatima's live-in husband, but no, she's actually a proxy to the newcomers. Exactly. Papa Socks. That's also look. This answer is also applicable. That is true. And I put that up there also because I wanted them to we there was an interesting dynamic I think when we first saw Fatima and her introducing herself in that role of a proxy, and I actually thought it was going to be more, right? I thought there was going to be more secrets about the Colony House that we were going to unfold, like about some of the drugs, right, or about some of the other relationships. But it sort of just stuck with just with that small part. All right, so let's keep things going. That was 600, so 800. So what did Fatima show Julie in her bedroom? Ooh. Fletcher says Fatima, first of her name, proxy of newcomers, weed grower, and mother of baby monsters. That's right. So Bitey says the moon. PS says the view. Papa Sock says the moon. Fletcher says the window. Even a nightmare can look like a dream. Uh, Bon Torres Ramos says, "What is the view from a bedroom?" The view. If you climb high enough, even a nightmare can look like a dream in a view. And so you're right, Fletcher. First to respond, yes. Even a nightmare can look like a dream. Yeah. What did Fatima show Julie? Yeah, I mean, she showed her that. I mean, that's really what she was showing her. But yeah, it was outside. It was the view. It was everything. But I think it was more of a meaning behind it, from when she showed it to her. And yeah, I mean, even a nightmare can look like a dream. And I put this in here specifically because we've multiple times said that we think that the show could it be a dream? Could they be dead? Could it not be real? And I think this was one of those references that I think meant a lot because they could see far into the distance and there was nothing out there, like no other lights, no other buildings, no structures far away. And so that bubble that they were in was really contained. And I thought that was an interesting scene that a lot of people looked over. I know I looked over it probably the first 3 times I watched the show until I was like, really, let me look at this. What is she showing her? So good job. Good job on that one. All right, here we go. Fatima for 1,000. So who told Elgin what Nadia used to say this place was calling out, but only some of them heard it? You guys are quick. What is Fatima? Yes, that is exactly right. So yeah, Fatima said this place was calling out to us, but only some of us were listening close enough to hear it. And still don't really know what she meant by this, but I think we're getting closer to this answer at this point, right? I mean, we're finding out more about the kimono lady. We're finding out more about Fatima. We're finding out more about Elgin. And we're really going to find, and I believe, if we have a list of the top mysteries, the Brundles, a couple of the Christopher, a couple of things, we really don't got that many mysteries left, right? So I really put this on here to discuss, but I would really like to know what you guys think about that and about how she said this place was calling out to us. I mean, do you think it was a voice? Like we've heard Sarah hear voices. We've heard, other people hear, Ethan hear voices, Victor hear voices. But do you think the Brundles has its own voice? All right, so that was Fatima. So good job, you guys. You guys were good at Fatima. I know it wasn't a lot of information about her for a long time, and I feel like we got a lot of information kind of all at once. Yeah, this place definitely talks to people. I agree. I think Fatima's baby is going to attack a monster. I can't wait. He's not a meat eater, so Ellis should be safe. If Ellis is even around, right? Because right now he can't even find her. So Bontez Ramos says, I think it's a good mix of good and evil voices, some for good and some for evil. Yeah, I agree. All right, you guys, let's pick another category. I think the baby will be good. Man, I mean, I would love to really talk about it as far as what I really think, but I think it's going to come to a fork in the road with Fatima as far as save Fatima or save the baby. But I think that it's really something else, right? I mean, if you guys seen my episode 6 thumbnail, I put alien on there, right? And I guess that's a monster. So I guess my theory kind of changed from thinking that she was going to turn into what I thought was a Wendigo to what I think now is something's going to pop out of her like an alien. So let me see. Christopher said Fat won't be having a monster. She's modified. Meaning that she can't have kids. So we got Fletcher said, he said, she said, okay. So he said, she said for 200. So who said, I don't want to turn into you? Oh, did it come up? A savior of some sort. Man, you guys are good. You guys are good. PM is here. Welcome back, PM. Very happy to see you here joining the live trivia tonight. We're just on our second category, so you're just in time. It's great that we got the full gang here. We have Bitey, the reigning champ. We have Mr. and Mrs. Smith, also the reigning champ. We have Gothic Chick, one of the runners up. We have PM too. PM is on the board every time. And so we got a couple of answers. And Julie, the painting. All right. So, I mean, you guys called it. I mean, I'm just trying to find out who said it first. Bon Therese Ramos said Jude Lar, but I know he meant Julie. Let's see. Papa Socks. But yeah, I mean, this was something that they caught and they just made it a full circle. There was like in season 1, episode 1, Sarah kisses Toby and says, none of this is your fault before stabbing him. In season 3, episode 1, Julie walks over to Sarah and says, I don't want to turn to you. And tells Jim, none of this is your fault. So we see a lot of parallels in From. And I try to make those connections as well with the parallels because they're looping. They're literally looping, right? And I think that it's really hard to see if you're not really watching episodes over and over and over again. But these things are happening with multiple people, and pretty much the same things happen with multiple people over and over again. And that's why I believe some of the theories when they say that there's some reincarnation going on and that these people were here before, because it's obviously in a loop. So let me know what you guys think about that. So Papa Sock said, so could this be that the timelines are converging in this place? The cycle of From, right? Yeah, man. I mean, something's going on. Timelines are converging, people are converging, writers are converging storylines like last minute, all that stuff. Let's see. So we got a category for locations. So let's get into locations. Locations for 200. So here from Frost Oxygen, it says, this eerie building became a critical setting for the events in season 1, offering clues about From's lore. This eerie building became a critical setting. So Papa Sock says, my hypothesis is Eloise did this conversion. We got the tunnels, the tree, the hotel, the shed. Anybody else want to guess? This eerie building became a critical setting for events in season 1, offering clues about From's lore. We got the lighthouse, the church. Oh, so Papa Sox meant that Eloise messed up the timeline. Okay, final answer, guys. I see a lot for the church. Final answer. I'll see if anybody else wants to. Where's Mr. and Miss Smith at? I don't know if they answered yet or if they had to pop out, but see if they want to. Said for the first 2-3 minutes, the church has been the central place I focused on. The Colony House. Dun dun dun. Frost Oxygen for the win. The lighthouse. Yeah, it's tough. Like I said, this is our eighth trivia, and it's kind of tough, some of these questions. But I think that trying to word them differently to provide less clues, and trying to stump you guys a little bit. So, but yeah, I mean the area building with the lighthouse. So good job, Frost Oxygen, for the win. For the win. All right, you guys want to keep going to locations? Man, you guys were spitting. You guys spit out all the locations, right? We might not be able to do this category no more, no anymore. You guys spit out every location trying to answer the first one. Oh, that's hilarious. So, so locations for 400. This location serves as a central gathering place for the town's resident and has been the site of several key events. I'm about to say, I'm sure you guys know which one this is. You guys named every location in the last question. So we got the diner, the diner, the diner. They got this guy Christopher says Fatima's bedroom. Chill out, that's too much. But yeah, you guys got it. The diner. I mean, the diner has been a central key location since um, the first one, and I even had an early season one theory that the diner was actually behind it all. Right? I mean, I had a lot of suspicion on Tien Chen. I know a lot of people don't like to hear that anymore. Rest in peace to the deceased. But there was just something weird about the diner. Of course, in season one, I'm talking about now. We kind of grown out of that, but season one, from the jukeboxes to the food to even Tien Chen to all the stuff that was going on there, I really was skeptical about the diner and thought it might be opposite like Stephen King's Christine, where it's a possessed car. I'm like, what if it's a possessed diner, right? That's what I was kind of thinking, but we know it wasn't anything like that. All right, so back to panel. So I mean, let's stay with location. Magical T, yeah. Say y'all remember everyone coming up for their fix paintings, LOL, talking clothing, sharing. She's a modern day swap meet. I mean, you get everything you need from Fatima. Keep your suspicions about the diner. She had the lonely dragon treasure. Now Bacta might find it. No, that is true. That is really true. I'm glad you reminded me about that. I was working on something like trying to put together clues from the whole Chromonacle, and it got too. Just wasn't enough information, so I ended up stopping it. But I might get back into it. So I'm glad you reminded me about that. Let's keep going with locations. Locations. It says, name this mysterious thing that surrounds the town, holds dark secrets, and is dangerous to wanderers to wander in after dark. Name this mysterious thing that surrounds the town, holds dark secrets, and is dangerous to wander in after dark. Yeah. Yusuf says the story of the abused and murdered kids and their lost souls is an old hard trope rooted in Japanese folklores. It'd be nice if they centered the show around that. So we got the forest, we got the forest, like the fairies. Then we've got the tunnels, we've got the forest, we've got the arch. Oh, you mean the ruins? So Papa Socks, we say the arch, you mean like the ruins or what they're calling the dungeon. The forest, oh, the forest. The monsters. Christopher says the tree. Yep, and if you guys are, let me see who said it first. Yes, it is correct. The forest. Dun, dun, dun. And remember, the forest is supposedly moving closer, right? And I mean, that was supposed to be a plot point from earlier season one. The forest was supposed to be getting closer. Victor was supposed to be measuring these trees. They were moving like 4 centimeters. I'm sure he said 4 inches, but I feel like he said 4 centimeters, which would be almost nothing. But they moved 4 centimeters closer. And then what else about the forest? Oh, it seems like Of course, we know it's a loop. Um, we know the faraway trees. I mean, there was more mystery. I feel like in season one. I feel like now these guys are kind of used to the forest. Like they know how to get everywhere every time. They know how to get to the shack. They know how to get to the ruins. They know how to get to the Lost Village. Like it's really like common passage now. It's like taking the train from New Jersey to New York. They can just do it easily. Oh man, Christopher, why was I thinking that? Burn the forest down. In a dire situation like that, that would have been the first thing. Like you got to burn it down. You got to, especially if you're trying to go home. All right, let's keep it going. Locations. Locations for 800. Now, this building provides temporary sanctuary, but is far from immune to the horrors lurking outside. So we got a couple answers here. Mr. and Mrs. Smith says the church. Papa Socks says the church. Says the church. Gothic Chick says the shack. Frost Oxygen says the camper Jim came in. Now PS says the van and truck. Christopher says the fake prison outside. Oh, you mean the when you say the fake prison, you mean the box, the peach truck. Any more answers? Well, this one I was referring to the church, so you guys are correct. But now thinking about it, there is a couple other options as well, right? The shack, right? The shack. Honestly, I think the shack would be a more fitting answer for this because I mean, the gaps in the boards on the side of the shack. I mean, and that's where Ellis and Fatima were going to stay at. I mean, I was like, bro, that's not a good place. The shack is not even. They would have to do heavy reinforcement of the shack. I'd rather them go stay in the Lost Village than go stay in the shack, man. I mean, that's crazy. Oh, he said Papa Sock say he thought it was a pound word sanctuary. Yeah. Okay, let's keep it going. So for 1,000, where is Abby's grave? So Christopher says the box is the best piece of technology. All you need is that 2 talismans. You can stay outside all you want. Yeah, there's really no right answer to this, but I just wanted to bring it up because I think that we're going to have either another sighting of Abby, or we're going to learn some more information about Abby because we've heard that Tabitha said that she saw this in a dream as a kid. And we all know that's what Abby said right before she started dome shotting everybody. But I mean, yeah, the field, the forest, that's pretty much in the woods, away from town, clearing in the forest. Yeah. No, Papa Socks. No, Boyd decided to bury her someplace else, and I really wondered about that. Right, I'm like, why would he bury her out there? Right? Why? I mean, but I guess he didn't want to see her every day because then he'd be sad. But I do feel I felt like there was something weird about that at first, but maybe but somebody else told me that maybe because she was responsible for most of the graves, they didn't want to put her with the rest of the bodies, right? Like, how crazy would it be? Because there was no bodies, there was no graves before she got there, and then when she got there was a whole bunch. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, not a trick. She killed everyone in there. Yeah, yep. I think that's exactly what happened. So that's probably what happened, but that's crazy. All right, so you guys, so we got the Fatima down, and we've got locations. So we've got 4 left. Unsolved Mysteries, episode 8. He said, she said. I think we've got 4 more. He said, she said, and then we've got hiding spots. So go ahead, pick out a category in the chat. Episode 8, I think a good category. And of course, you guys make sure you guys are hitting that like button. Make sure if you guys have not subscribed, make sure you guys subscribe. Oh, Miss T, welcome just in time for our new category. We're doing episode 8. You're just in time. So put you on thinking cap and join in. So here we go, episode 8 for 200. Now, what did Boyd say to do after they found Tilly's body? Any more questions? Or any more answers? What did Boyd say to do after they found Tilly's body? So this would be, so going back to the whole series of steps. Um, the colony house resident was the one who found the body. We don't know that guy's name. Mary is walking up the road. He calls out to her. I forget how Boyd got there. Boyd and Ellis got there. And then the Acosta and Kenny gets there. And then Boyd started taking control of the situation. Donna walks in. Donna says, we need to talk to Sarah. His name is extra number 4. Exactly. And Boyd says this. He says, this is what we need to do. And he says this, and then he says, Kenny, I know you're not my deputy. And Costa says, are we cool? Pack some clothes. Well, yeah, get out of town. Jump on the first thing smoking, Fatima. Right? You need to lay low for a while. You're hot right now. You can't be bringing that heat around to the town. At least that's his name in the other chat. Okay. Yeah, it's extra number 4. Yeah, because he had a big role. He even had a speaking role. This guy, Colony House resident number 4, he even had a speaking role, man, and a couple big scenes, man. I'm like, wow. But yeah, no, it looks like you guys don't know this one. So Boyd said, ask around and walk the streets, right? Remember, he said walk the streets to see if we had got any more visitors last night. I guess meaning that if anybody came into town. Now, I think that was the worst answer that Detective Boyd could have gave everybody. Like, and even Acosta said it. Acosta was like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Oh, just in case we got any visitors last night." Like, boy, we didn't have any visitors last night. Like, that was totally what you call faking it. That was a total faking that whole answer question. Let me tell you. Man, everybody knew that he was tripping with that answer. They knew nobody came into town. There was not no newcomers. He tried to throw the set off that far. Yeah, walk the road. Yeah, walk the road. He tried to throw the set off that fast. Like, oh, maybe it was somebody else. Like, no, boy, it wasn't. All right. So I just thought that was an interesting part. So episode 8 for 400. What did Henry ask Jade for? What did Henry ask Jade for? Oh man, you guys got it. So Bidey says a drink. Fletcher says a bottle. Papa Sock says a drink. Alcohol, a drink. One for the road. Yeah, Henry, exactly. Henry is always drinking. bottle, a drink. Christopher, you don't know that boy? Come on, man. You got this. Ask for a pickup, some liquor. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Hey, he said, hey, do you mind if I believe it was get one for the road. Yeah, I believe it was get one for the road. So that was exactly what he said. And I thought that was interesting. I mean, this whole scene was interesting, right? Because you would think, right? I mean, you're right. He's probably alcoholic. We see him drinking in the town. Of course, he would go to the bar. And then here, you would think he would at least try to spend more time with his son. Yeah, right. So yeah, a drink is understandable. I think he would want to stay with his son. That's what I thought. And then I got this whole connection with the people who drink and people who have visions and things like that on the show, and we see him drink a lot. And I think that he was there at an interesting time between Jade and Jim, and I think that he really was there. He actually, I think he gave Jim some good advice if Jim takes it, which was that every time his wife speaks, he should listen. All right, so let's go back to episode 8 for 800. Who had the most appearances in episode 8? Let's see if you guys know this one. Who had the most appearances? Let's see. We got Victor. We got Julie. We got Fatima. We got Jules. So he says, so Fletcher says Victor shows up a lot as Victor and young Victor. Pretty good. Any more? Are you guys ready for the answer? Julie had the most appearances. So the way Julie had the most appearances is Julie was in the woods, right, laying on the ground. Then she was walking in the dungeon. Then she was chained to the wall, all at the same time. She had 3 appearances all at once. And I didn't catch that until later. And I'm like, what? She really was she was seeing 3 different timelines at once. And so that was crazy, just how there was 3. And somebody also called that out in my comments in my video. But man, I was like, wow, they really got Julie in the middle of this crazy loop. So she walked into the ruins, and she falls to the ground in the reality, in the real world with everybody else. But then in the whatever astral plane or mental plane she's in, she's walking through the dungeon, and then she's looking at herself chained to the wall, and then she's hanging out with Martin, and then she's doing all these things. But yeah, so she had a couple of shots all at one. But yeah, that was a good call out though. Victor did have a couple of shout outs or a couple of scenes as Victor and young Victor, but not at the same time. But that was pretty close. I mean, that was max. So Fletcher says Julie's plot on this episode kind of confirms my Martin's soul is what at the dungeon, and his physical body is the corpse. Is a corpse in the cellar. Wow, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. I mean, we can see that it's definitely 2 different things. And that somebody's body can be one place and their mind can be someplace else. So I think that's actually really, really good. Now, if you count Fatima and the Polaroids, you're right. So she took a picture. She's in the Polaroid. Jasper was all over the place. So good job, guys. So this is the last one for episode 8. So who told the biggest lie in episode 8? Also, Fletcher said he had the Martin theory on my last video. Okay, thank you. Victor Bitey says Victor. Bonzer says boy. Boyd has resulted to just lying. Victor with Jasper. Victor Elgin, huh? Elgin. Let's see. Boyd, Elgin. Why y'all think Elgin? Y'all had to let me know why. Oh no. I guess now I'm thinking of not Elgin. I'm thinking of Ethan. No, I guess you Elgin. And I didn't even think about that. Elgin did do his fair share of lying. Yeah, a lot of lies is Henry. So you might be onto something, PM. We haven't even talked about Henry yet, but Henry, like father, like son, right? Like father, like son. But yeah, I didn't even think about it. Elgin, 100% could be a liar. Damn, Elgin. Yeah, that's true. He's lying to Fatima. Yeah, that's true. That is true. But I went with Victor because I don't know. At this point, I don't know what Victor's saying anymore, man. I don't. And I was waiting for him to speak for so long, you know? I was waiting for him to speak. I was waiting for him to talk to people. I was waiting for him to tell people everything, but I mean, I don't know what Victor's saying, right? At first, he's saying that it was him in the dungeon or in the root cellar and his mom left. Then he's saying it was him and his sister. Then he's saying he didn't know where his mom went. Then he's saying that he knows where his mom went because Eloise told him. Then he's saying that it wasn't Eloise who told him. It was Jasper. Then it wasn't Jasper. Now it's the boy. Like, come on, man. Jesus Christ. All right, I can't even keep up with this story no more with him, and it's frustrating me. Right? Yeah, exactly. I don't trust his memory anymore. It's been 3 or 4 times the story changed. We haven't seen a hair of Eloise, right? And it's really aggravating me because I was a big supporter that Tabitha was Eloise. And so I'm really pushing that. I'm really believing that. And then now it's like he's recanting all these stories. We go to the real world and Henry doesn't even say anything about Eloise, but we see all these pictures behind him as he's only talking about Victor. I mean, there's just so many things that is going on now that we can't even follow as far as Victor's storylines. I'm kind of just out of Victor's storyline at this point. I'm just like not even really paying attention to it. I'm only really following Tabitha Jade and now Julie. I mean, and that seems to be the max storylines. The rest are what I believe are usually like red herrings. So I believe there's only 3 storylines going on at one time. So Victor's out of the top 3 at this point. He's probably going to fall back to a minor character. So Papa Sock says Victor said Christopher was chosen one, and Henry said that Tabitha. Yes, somebody's lying. Yes, somebody doing some lying somewhere. I don't think Victor is intentionally lying. Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's intentional, but I think that he's I don't even know why he's doing this much lying. I don't. But well, I kind of do. Because I said that in my video, I said that I think that he's born white. And the reason why I came to that was because so he said that he saw the boy in white talking to Christopher, right? And I believe that we all know the boy in white is not real. So the boy in white wasn't really there, even though he was. So it was just him and Christopher that was there. So he had to be talking to Christopher. So that means that he's the boy in white. That's really what I was believing. And that's how he survived for 40 years. It was just in any situation you see him, he's saying like, "Yo, it's him, it was the boy in white. He was my only friend." No, it was just you. He's your invisible friend. And so Fletcher says that's because Victor didn't find Eloise's body, only Miranda's. Yeah, he didn't. He didn't. He only found Miranda's. He said, Bon Torres Ramos says, I don't remember Victor ever said that he found. He didn't. I believe Eloise arrived in town this season, but it's wild theory, so let's just move on. Yeah, I mean, we talked about that in the last chat about Eloise, who some people believe is Acosta, because Acosta has been doing interviews and she can't reveal what her first name is. They said it's integral to the show. But let me tell you something. There's been tons of things that they said is integral to the show. Tons of things. And there's been tons of information that they tell the people not. I think they tell the actors not to reveal in the interviews, because when I talked to Sarah, Sarah said I asked her. Well, when I say Sarah, the actress who plays Sarah, I asked her if her character Sarah has a mental illness, and she said I can't. It hasn't been revealed yet, and I don't want to say it. So they've always got things. Same thing with Elgin. Same thing with all these people. So they try to give them something to hold, so that, but it's a red herring. So I think Eloise is in an abandoned town where the shacks are. The noise they heard where they getting food. Yeah, we don't know what that is, but there's been a lot of talk about that as far as what's outside um, the Lost Village. Glad that Victor mentioned Eloise again. Yeah, I just wish they would show us Eloise at this point. But I think that I would. There's so many things that could the way this could go, right? Victor and Eloise could be the same person. Eloise could not be the same person. Eloise could be Donna. Eloise could be Sarah. Eloise could be Tabitha, right? Eloise could be Acosta. Just so many people that she could be, because we haven't seen adult Eloise. But I believe that everybody that we see is in the town at one point, and they are somebody. Exactly. In the flashback, Eloise was not there. Yep. Eloise is in the missing hotel. The Star Magic sign was there when she was in town. Now it's not. That's a good point. So Victor said I could never find Eloise because she was going to hide it. I think that she might have been in the Archer's dungeon. That's true. So, AKA Strange Sky, movie guru, does that mean Victor showed up the forest to share Sarah? I'm at the point where I believe Victor is not telling the truth. I think that he's really just, I don't know, creating a story around what he believes will get them further in solving the quest, right? But it's really not even him that's solving the quest. It's Jade, right? We all know that the key to getting out of there is freeing the children. So Victor's talking about going through the bottle tree to save the children. But I think that there's another step, right? You go through the bottle tree and you got to do something, and then that's going to free the children. So I think that's what Jade's walking on. All right. So that was the last question in episode 8. And so I think we've got Unsolved Mysteries. Yeah, Fatima. And we got Unsolved Mysteries. We've got He Said, She Said, Hiding Spots. Well, Christopher Boyd gets touched all the time. I mean, Boyd got the worms. He got scraped. He got shot. Boyd gets touched. Dora Hernandez says, so what halitosis the children? Hiding spots. Okay, hiding spots for 200. Who hid where Smiley said you picked this bad spot? Who hid where Smiley said you picked a bad spot? The old couple on the bus. That is true. The old couple on the bus. The old couple. You guys are too good. That's correct. This picture a little dark, but yeah, the old couple who didn't get away, who didn't listen to anybody when they said get off the bus. They just stayed, and they did not pick a good spot. So hiding spots for 400. Where did Victor hide when no one else was in town? We got a peace truck, the trailer, root cellar, the cellar, peace truck, In the caves. Peace truck. Oh, the truck. The truck. Fletcher with the win. Yes, the peach truck. But Jennifer, at one time with some of those flashback pictures, it wasn't until this episode that I thought when Victor was listening to the conversation with Christopher and Jasper, I thought they were in the caves. But a lot of people were telling me it was possibly the basement of the church or basement of another building, and that's what it looks like. But I was for sure that was in the caves. I was for sure that was in a cave. Yeah, well, give yourself 2 flames up. You're killing it. You're killing it. Okay, where did Ethan hide in season 3, episode 1? So I'm trying to be a little bit more vague here. You guys are too good. I'm trying to trick you guys out. Where did Ethan hide? So this is Ethan that we're talking about. Papa Sock says the bus. Next to the shed in the bush. The diner, the bushes, the bus. P.S. Yes, next to the shed in the bush, right? Sarah. It was with Sarah Fletcher. Yep. Because remember, she was not allowed to be next to Ethan, and she, called this redeeming herself by, grabbing him and them hiding in the bushes like they used to do before they had the talismans. So does that mean that Sarah was there before the talismans? No, she came after that, I believe. Okay, so where did Julie hide when the colony house was raided? We got Victor's room, the tree. She went into the tree, faraway tree, faraway tree, faraway tree. Gothic chick. Root cellar. Yeah, I mean, you're right. There's a lot of ways to answer this one. I mean, she. First of all, she was on a whole obstacle course. She runs up to Victor's room, then Victor throws down the rope, and then they get into the backyard, and then they enter the tree. But then ultimately, she was in the root cellar. So yes, Julie, Gothic chick with the win. The root cellar was the answer we were looking for. Yep, she ended up in the cellar. Yes, congratulations, Gothic chick. So hiding spots for 1,000. Where did Brian and Kelly hide after getting off the bus? And now, if anybody says in a casket, that's messed up. The bar. Mr. and Miss Smith says the bar. Fletcher says the bar. Monterez Ramos says the bar. Bar, gas station, bar. Yes, all you guys are correct. They went into the bar. And we didn't see much of Brian after that. I guess, and they found his body like devoured or whatever, or pulled apart. And then they said she watched, but usually they at least show it a little bit, but I guess they didn't want to show it. But it made me think, like, was he really dead? Scott Fletcher says I miss Kelly. Man, Kelly was in a lot of pain though, man. I think it was best that they let her go. And exactly, and I hate when they do that. Like the show's been doing a lot of stuff off camera, and I kind of feel like that for the hardcore fans, we had a rule like if you don't see a body, they're not dead. And so, it makes it kind of tough for us to keep going with theories if we're like, man, there's so many open plot holes. Like we technically didn't see his body, right? And then the writers could bring anybody back at any time and really would just mess up a lot of theories. So I guess they do that on purpose. So I think we have unsolved mysteries and he said, she said. So let's finish. Since we're on the right side, let's finish. He said, she said for 400. So yeah, man, you guys just remember to like, like and subscribe if you guys have not. Let's run those likes up. It means a big deal when you guys are on live stream and those likes start rising. So let's take a second, everybody. Let's get those likes up. 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 I'm really happy that you guys are here tonight. You guys could be anywhere in the world, but you're here playing from trivia. That's right. I appreciate you very much, Christopher. That's right. We want to rise in the ranks. There's a lot of From competition right now. If you go to the homepage, there's like 25 people doing lives talking about From. So I really appreciate that you guys decided to spend your time with me. And there's some great creators out there that I've met, and then there's also some ones that I don't know. They're not so great, but I think it's really about the TV show, and as long as you guys people have a love of From, then you're okay with me. So who said, what if the fears become part of the forest? Let's see. Mr. Memphis Smith says Sarah. Fletcher says Sarah. Papa Sock says Jim, huh? Let me ask you this, Papa Socks. You actually think Jim you think Jim actually did something other than complain? Gothic Chick says Sarah. Bon Therese Ramos says Sarah to Kenny. Ethan, Nathan. Wow, you threw it back to Nathan. PS threw it back to Nathan. I forgot about Nathan. That's right. Trivia night is always the best. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. But some people is toxic. Yeah, I try not to watch other creators while the season's on there, just so I can have my own theories and come up with my own, because sometimes it's hard hard not to be influenced by somebody else if you're always watching their stuff. So I just kind of watch my episodes, come up with my own theories, and then do my own content. But I usually dip back like after the season's over. I have a strong belief we're gonna have a cliffhanger, man. I mean, yeah, I can tell you guys some things. You guys remember how the channel used to be. I won't say anything else, but you guys remember how the channel used to be. We used to get a lot of information on this show, but we had to pull back for a little bit. Other channels were getting a little jealous. So, but yeah, I mean, there's some things that's about to happen, and of course, because see, they're definitely gonna have a season 4. They're definitely gonna have a season 5. I would say they might even go to season 6. Papa Sock says, my hypothesis with Jim is that he's necessary to show how the bracelet is still important to the story. Why else did he mention Julie's birth yet again? All the other chatter was known exactly. All right, so what do we have here? So Mr. and Mrs. Smith came in right away and said Sarah, and that is correct. I mean, this was a really quick scene, and I actually still believe that this is true, right? So what if the people who die here, what if their fears become part of the forest, right? And the reason why I brought this back up is because we've seen a lot of people die this season, right? We've rest in peace, Tien Chen. We also see, the paramedics. We've seen Nikki at the colony house who got shot. We've seen Tilly, right? That's 4 people, right, that we know that have passed. And you're right. What if we start to get the fears, coming back, right? What if this whole man in yellow is a manifestation of fears, right? And then, Curious George just pops out of the corner, right? We get we get the man in yellow and Curious George running around acting crazy. Um, but I do know, I can tell you guys this. There is one more big death that's going to happen. Now, I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but there's one more big death. And the reason why I know that is because if you watch the behind the scenes content, I think I showed it a lot when the season was starting, and Jack Pinkner, one of the producers, said that a few of our favorite characters are going to die. That's what he said. And I watched it. I rewound it on the show like 5 times. He said a few of our favorite characters are going to die. So we got Tien Chen, who passed away. We thought Randall was a goner, but he's not one of our favorite characters, right? And so it has to be a couple more people. So just think who you think is a favorite character, and you might know. We got Julie. Nate Foss says Julie. Julie's the new lead, man. Julie's has a lot of plot armor now. If this was last season, I'll be like, oh yeah, Julie's getting out of here. But Julie just took the lead, and it has a lot of main character energy after this episode. So Bon Terez Ramos says, I don't think Donna or Chrissy are going to die. Also Fatima for sure. Yeah, I mean, Fatima is a beloved character. I mean, she is in a pretty much a tough spot where she could die, right? Having the baby. This guy laughing. Somebody, as long as Jim is safe, I'm good. Well, you never know. I noticed that Ethan wished Tabitha was scared like before instead of yelling. And then Kui Kids showed up. This place hears your wishes. Yeah, I have been saying that too. I have been saying that it hears everything. And food showing up right after Kenny's mom died. I don't care. That's connected. Yeah. Hey, might end up like the man nailed to the tree, right? Somebody might. So Papa Sock says, I'm no longer worried about any of the characters because it just introduced time shifts, changed my whole outlook. Yeah, they sure did. Man, Donna's about to snitch. I didn't even want to talk about Donna. Donna's making me so upset. Like, I was team Donna, of course, like most other people, and she just op now. Like, she just a main op. She's kicking people out the colony house. She's turning on Fatima. She's wants to send people to the box. So Fletcher says, I hope Donna doesn't take her own life. She's broken. Yeah, she's broken. Yeah, I don't see her taking her own life, but I think that Boyd is going to sacrifice himself. I do, and not this season, but I think at the end of whenever that comes, seasons 4, 5, or 6, I do believe that Boyd is going to sacrifice himself for somebody. I mean, that's usually how it happens. That's how it happened on, pretty much on Walking Dead. Like, it was 11 seasons. He kind of just let himself go. He didn't even try anymore. And that's exactly what I think is going to happen with Boyd. Now, to the next question, who said they don't trust Boyd anymore? Man, you guys are on it. Fletcher's team Donna. Yeah, you guys are on it. Yeah, Donna looks more and more wounded with each event. See her face when Dale was in the wall right after Nikki bled out the night before. Yeah, I mean, they're getting hurt too. The goal of the creatures was to break Boyd, but to do so, I mean, they breaking everybody else. I'm laughing at Christopher because he says Boyd is not in the right frame of mind, but he also said that the problem is everyone's getting fatter, older, not wiser. Somebody was talking about Donna. They was like, yeah, Donna's the first one saying they're out of food. But it was like, does Donna look like she's hungry? Does Donna look like she's starving? Boyd isn't worried that Tilly's fate could end up being Ellis. Wake up, Boyd. No, he did say that. He said that that's why he didn't want them to go out and live in the woods at first because he's like, she's unstable and she could turn on you. He's like, oh, she wouldn't do that. But you don't know what's going on with her. Yeah, it was Donna. I mean, this scene hurt, man. Donna is supposed to be part of the gang, and she really is a opposition right at this point. And she's supposed to love Fatima, and she turned her back on her. And I think that's heartbreaking. It really is. And she pretty much was like, I'm going to throw her to the wolves and we're going to put her in the box. And Boyd's kind of wants to protect. He's got the hero complex, the savior complex. And she's like, that's not going to work anymore. It's over. You only got one of those. You got Sarah walking around here like she's one of the team, and she's definitely not. And people are very uncomfortable about it, but they swallowed it. And now Fatima, who hasn't barely has a role on the show, we're not gonna let her. We're not gonna let her slide. And in reality, I feel like Donna could. I feel like Donna could just let her slide. Yeah, she can. All right, that was he said she said for 8. Yeah. So here we go. He said she said for 1,000. Now, who said they were chosen? Now, I guess the actual right question would be say who said they were chosen? Who said they were chosen? Papa Sock says Henry. BTR says Henry. Fletcher says Boy and White Victor. Tabitha Henry. I don't think I put a thing on here. Oh no, Henry. Now remember, yeah, Henry, when he was in the basement with Tabitha, he said that his Miranda said that she was chosen. So back to the he said, she said, right? Henry said that Miranda said, all the these third person, speeches, so yeah, but that was he said, she said for 1,000. So I believe the last one is unsolved mysteries. You guys were avoiding this category like by all means, huh? So Fletcher said Victor said was chosen one. No, in this episode, I don't believe he said that one in this episode. Yeah, right. He said she said. yeah. He said she said Victor. So this would have been just Victor said, right? Not he said she said. Oh, but he said this episode. So the last category being unsolved mysteries. Known to lure people with strange energy, this site is where characters often experience shifts in reality. Now remember, I'm trying to make this tough for you guys, because if it was just to be regular, you guys would know right away. Man, you guys are too good. You guys are too good. Mr. and Mrs. Smith says the ruins. P.S. The ruins, dreams, and I believe it is the ruins. Soon as Julie starts walking there, her hands and feet start tingling. She starts to get this sensation. Because when she get that feeling, just wanna. So unsolved mysteries for 400. The character seems to have knowledge of the town's secrets and often warns others, though he's shrouded in mystery himself. This character seems to have knowledge of the town's secrets and often warns others, though he's shrouded in mystery himself. I knew you guys that we're going to know that one right away. The Victor or the Boy in White, because we're at this point, I think they're the same person. You guys got that one. And here's the most creepiest picture of Victor. Back when Victor had the good hair, man. Victor hair was laid in season 1, wasn't it? Man, he had the good hair in season 1. So Unsolved Mysteries for 600. This character, who appeared just before a major reveal, is thought by fans to play a key role in the town's destiny. Now, who is this? This character who appeared just before a major reveal is thought by fans to play a role in the town's destiny. No, that's a good point, Papa Sox. He says Donna has been there 3 years and not once has Donna pulled anyone aside to reveal a damn thing. I'm just saying. Well, she did with Tabitha, right? She did. She talked a little bit about Tabitha, but that was it. She really didn't tell Tabitha much. So Gothic Chick says Tabitha. PS says the Boy in White. Says Henry, Martin, all of them, huh? Julie, main character energy. Julie is the new front runner on the show. She is the future of From. She is the new main character. Y'all gonna blow your minds when y'all see what's gonna happen on these episodes 9 and 10. Julie is the new main character. It's not about Boyd anymore. It's not about Tabitha. It is all about the adventures of Julie and babysitting, okay? Okay, so some theorize that this character is linked to the origins of the town due to his unique insights and mysterious past. Who could it be? So we got the boy and white, the sibling boy girl combo. Christopher, we got Victor, Jasper. What were the 2 movies or shows related to this? Related to From or related to this question? So, boom, boom, boom. Martin. The answer was Martin. You guys were thinking though. When you were saying what were the 2 movies related to the show to From, I think I said it was Antlers. It was Antlers, and it was what was the other one? Oh, The Ritual on Netflix. The Ritual's on Netflix, and Antlers you might have to rent, but they're pretty close. Oh no, you're talking about The Watchers. You're talking about The Watchers. Yeah, it's called The Watchers. Yeah, it was called The Watchers. It came out this year. It came out this year. Yeah, There's actually a lot of shows like from if you want to be honest, it's what is that show? There's a ton of shows, but the Watchers I thought was 1 to 1. I almost thought it was a carbon copy. Yeah. So the Watchers, you got Antlers, you've got the Ritual, um, and then there's another Netflix show. Well, there's also Wayward Pines. If you guys haven't seen Wayward Pines, I mean, season one was pretty good. And then also Alice in Borderland. I don't know if you guys seen that's on Netflix, but Alice in Borderland. Here's all the shows I think. So I mean, Alice in Borderland is one. The Watchers, I said that. The Ritual, also Antlers, and then the last one that I said was Wayward Pines. Yeah, those are all the shows. Those are all the shows that are pretty much identical. Yeah, Dark Matter. Dark Matter was very similar that people say, but I mean, the subtitles just threw me off. I mean, the sub and the dub threw me way off for Dark. Oh, Dark Matter. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Dark Matter. Oh yeah, yeah. That's another show. I'm thinking of Dark on Netflix. No, Dark Matter was on Apple. Yeah, yeah. They're coming back with another season of that too. Yeah, I mean, now that was crazy time looping, wasn't it? I mean, a lot of people said it wasn't enough. Yeah, but yeah, Dark Matter. Yeah, to me, I liked it. I liked it, especially those first couple episodes. So yeah, that was it. I think we only got one question left, and it is the most important question and the most reoccurring question that we asked here on the show. I put this on the at least the first 5 or 6 um, question episodes of From Trivia because I knew we were eventually going to get an answer, and I wanted to keep it on here until we got an answer, and we finally got an answer. A round of applause. Who threw the boy the rope? And we know it was Julie. I know Christopher, right? Duh, it was her the whole time, right? I had no idea. And I mean, I told y'all on my show, I said that I feel like that was a plot hole. Like, and they just looped it back to fill it. Like, they literally was like, we got this girl on here who's rising in the polls. She's very popular. She doesn't have a storyline. Let's just give her a storyline. Let's have her go into the ruins and, let's have her throw the rope down. I mean, come on, man. No, there was zero clues for that. None. Zero clues. So, but yeah, it was Julie. It was Julie. And so now, I mean, so now Julie's got the power, and she's gonna be doing a whole bunch of things. But yeah, so I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of From Trivia. Now, what we usually do after From Trivia, we usually just talk about the show and go over the different episodes and some of the different points. And so, if you guys are not familiar, this is my page. I just put my new video out, Main Character Energy. And so, you guys can pretty much subscribe. We can watch my video, talk about it in the comments. And so I'll just go over a couple of scenes here. Now, a lot of people have been saying that. Let me expand it. A lot of people have been saying that the last few episodes have been slow and a lot of talking. Where have the monsters been? Oh, thank you guys. Thank you guys. I'm glad you caught it too, Jennifer. Next weekend will be episode 9. Now, next weekend will be a big episode because there's some. I talk about it on here. If I usually go to the IMDb and check out the cast for each episode, and I believe in episode 9 is when the Man in Yellow makes his appearance. So make sure you're here next week so we can talk about that as well. I mean, that's a big deal as far as the Man in Yellow. So they're asking where the monster's been at, and I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but there's a reason why that the monsters have not been in it. And so if you guys, let me go back a little bit. So if you guys are not familiar with my page, so I'm the movie guru, and I do interviews with the cast. And so you guys can go back onto my front page here to the podcast, and you guys can see all the people I interviewed here. I don't know if you guys can see this, but let's see. I interviewed Smiley. I interviewed Scott McCord. I interviewed Donna. I interviewed Cortion Moore, AJ Simmons. You guys can see it's all up on my page. And so, I do from time to time get information and pictures and videos of from, and so I do know it's part of the press package, right? So me and my trying to become more professional, I do end up getting press material. So I get to go on a press site, and that's how I get a lot of the legit pictures. And so I have seen what pretty much comes on episode 9, but I don't know what happens on episode 10. But I do know, like I said, I follow IMDb very closely, and it looks like the Man in Yellow is coming back on episode 9. And so that's going to be a lot of information on that, because there's going to be some reveal. I guess it's all tying together. And also another way that we know this is going to tie together, it depends on who is directing the episode, right? And so if you see Jack Bender directing the episode, yeah, thank you, Christopher. I really appreciate it. If Jack Bender is directing the episode, it's going to be all the information. The whole storyline is going to come together, and we're going to get a lot of information. And usually that's the episodes with the creatures. It's usually when Jack Bender. So Jack Bender is doing 9, and he's doing 10. So the 9 is Revelations chapter 1, and it says tensions are at an all-time high as the town residents learn that one of their own has gone missing. So one of their own, they're talking about Fatima. So we've seen in this episode, Ellis takes her to his dad. All right, thanks a lot, Papa Socks. Take care. We see that Ellis takes Fatima to her dad. Her dad takes her to the cabin of woods, and then Elgin takes her to the root cellar. And then but they don't know she's down there. But Elgin, like you guys were saying early, Elgin was lying. Elgin was lying his ass off, right? Yeah, he got her down in that root cellar. So episode 10, though, is Revelation chapter 2. And of course, the director is Jack Bender again. And it said, Boyd is pushed to his limit as time begins to run out for someone he loves. Randall is haunted by his trauma, and Victor reveals a hard truth. Tabitha's unlikely journey takes a shocking turn. Boyd is pushed to his limit, and it says Randall is haunted by his trauma. Victor reveals a hard truth. So what other hard truth is Victor going to reveal? I feel like Victor already revealed a lot of hard truths. So it's like, what else could Victor reveal in this hard truth? And so we pretty much went through Julie and her new storyline, her main character storyline, where she's at the ruins, and then she goes into the dungeons. And then Victor telling his story, and then we've got Fatima going through hell and back. I mean, she physically couldn't get out the cellar. I don't know if you guys noticed that. She walked down, but then it was like she went to go out, and she physically couldn't get out. Like, I know we see her climbing, it looks like but she was at a wall. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Like, she was at a wall. Like, she really could not climb out. She was really stuck in there. So whatever is in her, or whatever she's becoming, wants her in there. And this goes back to episode 8, when Elgin said to the kimono woman who appeared, is this where it happens? Right? And so this is where she's stuck at. She can't get out. Even if he left the doors open, she could not physically walk out of there. She couldn't. She could not. So we got this little, I don't know what this is. I don't know what to call this little romance or this little group that they form in between Julie and Randall, but Jim's not happy about it at all. And I mean, we talked about this on the trivia, but man, Julie threw Boyd the assist and got Boyd out of a real tight spot. And I don't believe she knows what's really going on. I don't believe that anybody does. And she really hasn't told anybody. So even though Ethan was there with her, he doesn't know what happened to her, right? He just knows she fell on the ground. So nobody knows that she didn't tell anybody that she went someplace else, right? They just see her spazzing out on the ground. But she goes into the ruins. She's in the dungeon. And she sees herself. And then she sees Martin. But one thing I always look at when I look at the dungeon scene, you see how the floorboards like right above her head, like there's a light, there's like a light shining above that. And I always try to see like, what is that up there? Like maybe if there's like a picture, because it looks like there's another light source. Like it looks like it's a door or window for that to be that much light. So I really can't tell what it is. So Bonteres Ramos says the baby was giving her pain. Christopher says her body triggers like the baby, but isn't there. In theory, maybe she's perceived a future child, or we can see dilation, specifically her womb. Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be something to come. We'll probably find out more next episode. I just hate we got to wait a week for it. But something's keeping her there. So whether it's the monster inside her or whether it's, you're right, it could be the baby inside her. We still don't know 100%. So then Julie's down here, still in the dungeon. She sees Mari. Then she sees herself. She sees Randall. And then she sees Martin. Now, this was a better picture of the dungeon. I mean, they had a full light on this shot. Like, we could see a lot. Man, I never seen Martin's legs before. That man got some sticks on him. His legs is skinny as all hell. But yeah, one of the things that I realized was that Martin knew Julie. And so how was it that Martin knew Julie? I mean, I guess, people have been saying we don't know what Martin is. He could be the entity. He could be the boy in white. He could be not even a real person, just a figment of their imagination. And he could be, that's how he knows everybody. But I mean, I kind of think that now that this time travel or this space travel has been, brought up, I think that he could actually be someone in the town at this moment. And I think that either he's like her and was in the town, got out the town, came back to the town and got stuck here in the past, or because I don't think he's been there from the past. I think he's from their timeline. But for some reason, he's there. So P.S. says when Boyd found Julie, he said her name many times. So I think he saw her chained up. But that's a good point. But was he in the room? Oh, I guess he was in the room. I gotta go back and watch that scene. Was he in the room when they were chained up? So he said the girl is too light to be Fatima. Oh, the picture in Fatima's bedroom is not LS and Fatima. Ooh, we think it's Julie? Could be. Julie's Mr. Still your man. But yeah, so Julie throws down the rope and helps Boyd out of the tight spot. And so then we get more to the time travel. I mean, this was the first indication that there was time travel, which was when Tabitha was going up the steps. She's got 1506, 1864, 1609, 1752, 1931, 1883, 1978, 1672. And so trying to figure out what all these times were. Now, at first, I thought it was people from that time period who were sucked into this place that were trying to solve the, the free the kids, right? But were never able to. And that's what I really thought it was. But now I believe that since I know this is a time loop, I think that it might sound crazy, but I think this is all the times that Tabitha has been there over and over again. Now, not specifically to her as we know it, but I think that her as different people, right? I think that she's been there before as somebody else. She's been there before that as someone else, and as someone else, someone else, someone else. And so has other people from there as well. They're all from there. That's really what I think it is. And that's what I think is going to play out with Julie's timeline and Julie's story. And we're going to start to find out that she's goes back in time. We're going to find out that Martin went back in time. We're going to find out all this time stuff. Yeah, series quantum entanglement. Yeah, if we can see Julie multiple times, yeah, exactly. I did want to say, and I think I said it in here. I mean, this is pretty much what it looks like, right? I mean, this is the Einstein-Rosen bridge, right? So you've got the alternate route to the wormhole, which would be the down tree, and then they get stuck in the Einstein-Rosen bridge, which is the closed time-like curve. So they're in that closed time-like curve. But of course, if you start playing with times, if you start playing with time, it's going to turn into the flashpoint paradox. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but this was a really good comic book series. They did make it into an animated movie where the Flash goes back in time to save his mother. And of course, it doesn't work. And so one has to accept the things you cannot change, but only change the things that you can. And the Flash, of course, didn't listen. And he kept going back, kept going back, kept going back, kept going back. And he just kept making things worse and worse. So we'll have to see where that goes. So Christopher says time isn't like Flashpoint made it. So well, Christopher said that means that the monsters, he said, what did he say? The monsters are, I'm trying to find his comment. Oh yeah, if you use that basis, then the monsters are from the future. No, the monsters, they're not from the future. They're like they're probably from the same time as the Milkman, right? Like the 50s or 60s or whatever that Milkman was from. But I think those are the parents. Those are the parents of the kids. Because I think there's 7 of them. And how many monsters are there? I think there's 7, right? There's Milkman, Mechanic, Librarian, Old Lady, there's Cowboy, Mob Guy, Diner Lady, Chili Girl. No, I think there's more than that, but I think they could be all the parents or somewhat related to the kids. But yeah, so then, she's there laying on the ground while her mind is someplace else. Well, we know where her mind is in the dungeon, and then when they pull her out, where was it? Yeah, they pull her out. She was fine. But remember, in order for Boyd to go into the dungeon, he needed like the torch. So he had to light the torch and come out. But then when he had the torch and it wasn't lit before, he was in. So that always made me think, like, if Boyd never lit the torch and tried to leave the dungeon, would he have been in the past? But then since he lit the torch and came out, and then I think when he entered the dungeon again, he had to light the torch and he went into the dungeon. So I have to go back and watch that part. So Jennifer said they're the ones who commit the original sin. Yeah, I think you're right. They were, which was a child sacrifice. Yes. Yeah, so these are the children of the creatures, and well, Victor told us. He said they were tricked. They gave their hope up, and when they were laying on the stones, they looked up and they gave all their hope into the roots. And so the roots is the symbol in the roots of the faraway tree, and they control the faraway tree. And so that's so we know that information now. So the only last bit of information is what happened to Christopher, and how do you free the kids? So we know what happened to the kids, we know how they got there, we know what the faraway tree is now, but we don't know how to free them. And I think Jade's working on that now. And then we don't know who the boy in white is, but I think the boy in white is with the kids, but he's not one of the sacrifice kids. He might have been killed another way. He might have died before or after them. And I believe that he's trying to help them, which in turn helps him. But then at the same time, we don't really know what happened. So on this video, I was saying that Victor didn't say what happened to Christopher, and but all he did say was that Christopher got upset when the boy in white told him to go into the faraway tree. And so when he got upset, that's what I was saying was, did he do this? And that's what I think that they were alluding at. Like since he didn't want to go in the faraway tree because he didn't want to leave Fromville. So he went and killed everybody into town, right? So that way they could not go through the faraway tree either. Because in essence, if they're all there, then they've all been chosen and they all have the power to free the kids. But I think the boy in white, for some reason, doesn't like telling them that, like giving them clues anymore. So he kind of lets them figure it out on their own. And since he was trying to let everybody figure out on his own, he hasn't been saying anything. And so Christopher went to try to kill them because he didn't want them to figure the way out, and then they all go home. And so because I do believe that some people on the show do not want to go home. You know, some people don't want to go home. And I think that Christopher was the first person that didn't want to go home. And we see that in people now, right? Jim doesn't want to go home. Boyd doesn't want to go home. A couple other people, Donna doesn't want to go home. Sarah doesn't have a home to go to. No shade. No shade. And then here we go. We got a picture of them all lying. Victor making up all these damn stories about who said what and what he saw. And he said, she said. And here's what he said. And so we got the proof right here. He said that Eloise said, that's where my mother went that night. She went to save the children locked in the tower. Then come back to here. He's like, oh, it wasn't Eloise. It was me. He's like, oh, it was Jasper. Then, oh, no, it was the boy in white. Like all these lying, this lying. And then they showed a flashback. It's just him. But then they show another flashback. It's Eloise. Then they show him coming out the dungeon, the root cellar, with all these bruises and he's all dirty. So it's like a whole bunch of stuff missing from the timeline. And then he goes and gets Jasper. But look at this was the caves. The caves looked crazy, didn't they? Like, first of all, I thought this was maybe they were hiding out in the caves originally, and then the caves got taken over or whenever they got turned into creatures. But I mean, there's too much stuff down there. There's paintings, suitcases, a table with food on it. Like something's not adding up right about the caves. Yeah, Jennifer said maybe it's all true. Yeah, maybe it is all true. Maybe every theory, because I mean, they said the show was a mix of multiple Stephen King novels, and so they're probably just exploring as many storylines as they can at one time to make it as interesting as they can and to throw as many people off. But I knew the answer had to be something simple. But Victor is very guilty, right? He now blames himself for the death of his mother. And he's really taking that hard. So I think when we went back to when it said episode 9, where it said Victor. Let me see if I can find it. It says, yeah, tensions are high. In episode Revelation chapter 10, it said Victor reveals a hard truth. So what other hard truth is it other than what he saw, which was he was to blame for his mom's death, right? So what could be harder than that? You know, from his that's probably the hardest truth that he would have to come up with. But he kind of says it here, right? Once he says it here. So what else does he have to say? But then also this led me to believe that Eloise is not a real person because for one, we haven't seen anything. Now he's changed the story. Eloise is not in it. And that was the only time that Eloise was in it, was that little part. And once he removes it, then Eloise doesn't exist anymore. And I think that as crazy as it may seem, Tabitha is going to be Miranda, like coming back to life or something like that. And I know that when it comes to this drawing, a lot of people were, saw this picture that Miranda drew in Henry's basement, and we're really trying to figure out where it came from. We've seen the Civil War soldiers, but this was like obviously random. And if you go on the IMDb page and go to the episodes and go to the cast, let's see. So it tells you who's where. So we know that Christopher is going to make a comeback. This is episode 9. So this is Revelations chapter 1. So this is episode 9. So we got Miranda. So Miranda's going to be back in episode 9. We got the kimono woman in episode 9. Oh my God. I didn't see this one. Smiley Creature's coming back in episode 9. I didn't see that before. Christopher's coming back in episode 9. The boy in white's back in episode 9. Man, I did not see that. Everybody's coming back in episode 9. Wow. Everybody's coming back in episode 9. And then let me see. Let me go to the next one, chapter 10. And if you go to chapter 10, let's see. So same thing. We got regular cast. And then we got rest of cast. So right off the back here, right? Why is Eon Bailey listed as rest of cast? Right? If I go back, right, how I just was, it says top cast. Oh, this is still 10. Let me go back to 9. If I go back to 9, right, Eon Bailey is cast. See, he's cast, right? Jim Matthews cast. Why when I go to episode 10, let me see if I can go back to this is 1. Why when I go to episode 10, why is he listed as rest of cast? Man, they think they slick. Man, I like to see them slick. So it says, so Elon Bailey is rest of cast. Tilly, looks like Tilly's coming back on episode 10. And then here he is. Douglas E. Hughes, the man in yellow, right? And so we got the man in yellow. It will be on episode 10. And so that picture that we saw of the man in yellow is that man. And he's coming back at episode 10. Now what he does, I don't know. So Jennifer said, baby Smiley, huh? You really think it's a baby? Well, the creature, I mean, how would you create another creature? I feel like it should be easier than that, right? Than to create another creature. Like, just like, I mean, think about vampires. You bite somebody, they're a creature, they're a mindless creature. You used to werewolf, you scratch somebody, they turn at night, right? I wouldn't even mind that for a while. Like, what if some of the people in the town started becoming creatures? Like there was a creature running around at night, and they didn't know who it was, and had to find out who it was. Right? That would be cool. And then, but then it's like you got to do it through birth. Like, I mean, that's kind of like how Alien is, right? And that's why I put the picture on my thumbnail, right? It's like Aliens, like they put it in the body of the person, and then it pops out, and then it's the creature, right? Like Alien. That's the only other thing I can think of. So, but we know now that Smiley's coming back. So, man, I gotta actually, I'm gonna start doing a video on that. Man, so a lot of info. We got a lot of information right there. This live stream been going on for almost 2 hours, so I think that might be a good place to leave it, man. But of course, make sure you guys get the likes up. Make sure you guys subscribe. I'm probably gonna do like 2 or 3 more videos this week talking about the Man in Yellow and the return of Smiley. And so I really appreciate you guys for joining my live stream. It's always a pleasure. You guys could have been anywhere in the world tonight, but you were here hanging out with the Guru. So I really appreciate it. Please make sure you guys go like my Facebook page. If I get 100 people to like my Facebook page, I can go live there as well. We have a bigger group, more questions, more fun. And I am streaming to YouTube and Twitch. So if you guys are on Twitch, check out the Movie Guru page there. But I really appreciate you guys tonight, and I'll see you on the next episode. Take care.